Yep, I've found it. That is the best football ever made.
Now that's a bold statement, so let's go back 2 weeks to see how I got to that decision.
So I was just out here taking some shots and it got me thinking, what is the greatest football of all time? Like the best one ever? Well, I've decided I'm going to test out pretty much every football there is and crown one of them the winner.
Now, before I can start my search for the greatest football of all time, I think we should also answer the question of what are the best football boots ever made? Now, football boots have evolved a lot over the past 100 years, and companies have spent millions of pounds designing the perfect pair. So in my search for the best boots, surely the pair that have scored the most goals is the perfect place to start.
So it's pretty hard to get official stats on which football boot has scored the most goals of all time, but from all my research, it seems to be the Nike Mercurial.
The Nike Mercurial line is built for attacking players, so it's no surprise they've scored so many goals. But are they the best football boots ever? Let's test them.
So
I was using the latest pair of Mercurials, and they felt pretty good on feet.
So there's definitely an argument to be made for the Nike Mercurial being the greatest football boot of all time, but that's a big statement to make, so there's a few more boots I want to test out first.
And next up, I'm going to test the boots that the fans think are the best, and there's two pairs that often come up.
The first pair is the Nike Hypervenoms, and these are just iconic.
Everyone loves these, and they would definitely be a lot of people's favourites. I think they look really cool, and they're really nice to use, but I don't think they're the best ever. So the next football boot that fans love is in this box.
But what is it? Well, I'm going to give you some clues. They were released in 2002, worn by Zidane and Beckham, and they're an absolute game changer. It is, of course, the Adidas Predator Mania.
Now on feet, these boots look really good, but being 20 years old, they're very uncomfortable. I think nostalgia plays a big part in why people love these boots, but when it comes to actually using them in 2025, they're not great. So before I unveil what I think is the perfect football boot, next up I'm going to take a look at the most sold pair.
So I'm going to give you some clues to the most sold pair of boots of all time. Released in 1979 and still going today. You won't see them worn by many Premier League pros, but a lot of casual footballers love to wear them. Let's take a look. It is, of course, the Copa Mundial.
These boots were designed almost 50 years ago when the game was very different, and the fact that people still wear them today is very impressive. Let's test them out. So these are obviously a great football boot, but on feet they're starting to show their age, and they're definitely heavier and less streamlined than modern boots. So although these are great boots, for me they're not the best ever. So now it's time to unveil what I think are the most perfect pair of football boots.
So under this cloth, I have what I think is the greatest football boot ever made. Now some of you I think will be quite disappointed with my decision, but some of you will think it was absolutely perfect. So without further ado, let's find out what I think is the GOAT football boot.
So I've chosen the 2009 CTR 360 as the best football boot ever made. Now let me explain why. Now first up, they look really cool. On feet, they're extremely comfortable, which is obviously one of the most important things when it comes to a football boot. The control, touch and passing with these boots is unreal. And they're also great for shooting.
Oh my days. I'm telling you, these boots are just unbelievable, mate. Mate, what is going on?
So I've chosen what I think is the perfect football boot. Let me know if you agree in the comments or if you'd pick something else. But now my boots are sorted, let's find the best football ever made. Now the ball is the only piece of equipment that's essential to the game. You don't need boots, you don't even need a pitch. All you need is a ball. So which one is the best? Well, I've come up with a few categories that will help me answer that question. And after testing all these footballs, I will finally be able to pick my top 3 and of course reveal one ball as the greatest ever made. So footballs have changed a lot over the years, from the heavy leather balls in the 1930s to the modern day football that we use today. But when it comes to finding the best football ever, what better place to start than the most modern ball on the market? This is the 2025 Premier League ball. It cost me £115. If it's good enough for the Premier League players, it's good enough for me. But is it the best ball ever made?
Save. Oh, save.
So I was taking some pretty nice free kicks with this ball, and although it's really good to use, I just can't put it in the GOAT conversation. Let me explain why.
So if I'm going to class a football as the greatest ever made, it's got to excel in 3 different categories. Number 1, it's got to look amazing. Number 2, it's got to be great to use. And number 3, it's got to be iconic. So this ball looks good, I'd say about 7 out of 10, and is great to use, but it just hasn't been around long enough to be considered iconic. So the search continues.
So I'm going to test out the most sold football of all time, the most scored with football ever, and I'll also be asking the fans what they think is the best ball ever made before revealing my top 3 and crowning one ball the GOAT of footballs. But first, I need to test a ball that changed the game, and for this, I'm heading to France.
So I'm in Paris, and the next ball I'm testing out is this. The year is 1998 and France are hosting the World Cup. Adidas were tasked with designing a football for the tournament and they ended up with this. Now it might not look too special now, but at the time it was a bit of a game changer.
This is the 1998 Adidas tricolour, and if I'm testing every iconic football, I need to try this out. Now, strikers love this ball, as it set a new record for most goals in a single World Cup tournament at 171, a record that it would hold for nearly 20 years.
So this ball scored a lot of goals and was a bit of a game changer, but is it the greatest football of all time? Not for me.
So, as the sun set over Paris, the search for the best football ever made continued, and although the Adidas tricolour hit the back of the net 171 times, that still only makes it the second most scored with ball in World Cup history. So what's the first?
So this is the most scored with World Cup football at 172 goals, so the strikers must like it at least.
The 2022 Al Rilla is the most scored with World Cup ball. Now, is this down to the ball itself? Well, that's hard to say, but it's worth testing out to see if I can crown it the best football ever made.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So this ball was great for shooting, and it's definitely a contender for my top 3 of all time.
Oh! Now, to be a truly great football, you've got to be involved in some iconic football moments. And this is the ball that Messi won his only World Cup with. It doesn't get much more iconic than that.
So the Al Rilla is a really good ball. And could it be the best ever? Well, maybe. It's definitely got a chance of making the top 3. But I've tested the most scored with World Cup ball. Now I want to test the most scored with Premier League ball. Now the Prem has had loads of iconic footballs in its 32-year history. But which one has scored the most goals? Well, that would be the 2023-24 season Nike Flight ball. Hit in the back of the net an incredible 1,246 times.
This ball is very slippy, man. But it scored the most goals in the Premier League, so surely I should be banging goals in with this. Save. Right. Get in. Oh, what a save. Now, is this a good football? Obviously, it is a really good football, but is it the greatest of all time? Not for me.
So we've tested a game changer and we've tested the most scored with footballs. But what is the most sold football of all time?
Now, it's hard to get official stats on the most sold football of all time, but from all the research I've done, it seems to be the Adidas Bazooka from the 2014 World Cup, which sold over 14 million units. Now that's impressive.
The Adidas Bazooka was the 2014 World Cup ball, and it's hard not to love the design. It took over 2 years to develop and was tested with over 600 players, so no surprise it's such a good football.
Now, I love this football, but is it the best ball ever made? Well, maybe, but there's a few more I need to test out first.
So we have another potential winner, but before I can pick the best ball ever, there's one more ball I need to test out.
Now, football is nothing without the fans, so what do they think is the greatest football ever made?
It's got to be the 2006 World Cup Team Geist.
It's got to be the Adidas Jabulani.
Any kind of mitre balls?
The 2006 World Cup final ball.
It's called the Adidas Speed Cell.
The 2006 Adidas Team Geist.
So I asked 10 football fans what their favourite football is, and these were the results. As you can see, the Adidas Team Geist took the lead, a few votes for the Jabulani, and the Adidas Bazooka also got a couple of votes. So obviously I need to test them out to see if any of them could be classed as the greatest ever. So I bought loads of iconic footballs throughout history, from the first Premier League ball to the Adidas Tango to the 2006 World Cup ball. So I've tested every iconic football out there, and now it's finally time to pick a winner. This was a very hard decision to make, but I think a lot of people will agree.
So now it's time to reveal what I think is the greatest football ever made, and it's under this cloth right here. But I've also got the second and third place footballs as well. And I'm very excited to show you what it is. But first up, let's take a look at what I put in third place. So in my opinion, the third greatest football ever made is this. The Nike T90 Aero.
So at third place is the Nike T90 Aero. This is a classic Premier League ball. It's great for shooting, iconic design, and very deserving of the third place spot.
So moving on to the second best football of all time, in my opinion. Now this one is one that came up a lot and is a big fan favourite. And as you can see, my second favourite, and what I genuinely think is the second best football ever made, only beaten by this ball under here. Let's take a look. It's absolutely iconic. It's about 10 years old. It is the Adidas Brazuca. What a football. The colour scheme is just unbelievable, really stands out on the pitch, involved in some massive moments and unreal to use. So that is my second place football, and I'm sure a lot of people will agree with that. But now we move on to the number one greatest football of all time. This ball is absolutely iconic. It looks unbelievable and is the best football to play with out of any of them. So without further ado, let's take a look at what I think is the GOAT football. 3, 2, 1. Boom, the Adidas Teamgeist 2006 Finale ball. Just look at that, is a thing of beauty, that. Just take a look. Now, apart from obviously looking really cool, you're probably thinking, what makes this football so good? Let me explain.
So this ball is just incredible. Apart from just looking great, the ball exceeds all of FIFA's standards when it comes to roundness, bounce, and water retention, making it incredible to use.
Yeah.
And no other football flies through the air like this.
Wow. Oh. Wow, this ball is just so nice to kick.
So this was my pick for the top 3 footballs, and of course the best football ever made. Do you agree with my choices? If not, what do you think is the greatest football of all time?